James, Jalen Tyson said on Sunday night that he really wants to get this playoff run, get a championship for you because he said you've done everything in this league except win. When people say he's done everything in this league except win, how does that hit you?
It's the truth. That's why I'm here.
Could you call it a career? Could you call it a fulfilling career without winning a championship, do you think?
Yes. 1,000,000%. I've done so many things that 95% of the world couldn't even imagine. So it's like I've already, I'm very, very confident. I'm happy. Life is amazing. I did a lot of different things. I've impacted a lot of different people in a positive way. I impacted the game in a positive way. I still work my butt off extremely hard, to win a championship. You understand that it's not a very easy task. There's a lot that goes into it. So, just preparation and preparing my mind and body and teammates to go on a run.
If you could send a message to a playoff newbie about what the playoffs are all about, what would you tell them?
Spin cycle, a lot of ups, a lot of downs, a lot of things that happen throughout the course of the game, the series, possession, so I think it's just the mental aspect of it to where, you got to prepare for anything that goes, but also understanding what your job is and what you're supposed to be doing on the court.
You mentioned that this is why you're here. What's the feeling now that the playoffs are here finally?
I think we're prepared. We're going to continue to get prepared. We know what we're facing. Toronto's a really good team. They've been all year long. Probably one of the teams that the league hasn't really been talking about. But defensively, really get after it. Obviously, you have Scotty, you have Brandon, and then they got other guys that impact the game, and RJ and Quickly and other guys. So we know what we have, in front of us, and our job is to be prepared to play a really good series.
What have you seen from this group that lets you know that you guys are working?
The work, as we're working right now. Guys are still working individually as a unit. We watched the film today. Got after it a little bit today. The guys will continue to put the work in. So just trending in the right direction, making sure that we're prepared for Saturday.
James, you and Donovan are like kind of like alpha males. How do you set maybe that aside to work harmoniously as you guys have?
I think it all just the game dictates that. You know what I mean? Like if Don has it going and he's on the heater, we let the game play out. You ready to catch and shoot? You ready to, when your number's called. Vice versa. If I've got it going or getting into the paint and drawing and making plays for everybody else, then then he kind of sits back and let me do my thing. So, the game dictates it, and I'm sure there are going to be many cases in this postseason where the game dictates. One of us got to get it going or got it going, and the other one just, be ready to contribute in other ways. So, the great thing about him, he has no pride. He wants to win, I want to win. So, we're just going to go out there and figure it out.
Can you talk about just getting you guys prepared conditioning-wise and wanting you to be ready, not necessarily comparing it to last year, but knowing that Toronto likes to run? What was that conditioning set like earlier on into the league?
We conditioned yesterday, we conditioned today, we're conditioning tomorrow. Even me not playing, the last game, I've been doing conditioning as well. So guys seen the clip yesterday with Don posting, guys were laying on the carpet, we're getting after it. So I wasn't here last year, but I just know for me, being in this postseason for a little bit of time now, at the different level, you need to be at. So me personally, just making sure I'm prepared is very important.
You talked about loving this game more than someone around the league, right? You've been around Donovan for a little bit. How have you seen his love for the game kind of show itself in his preparation and being around you as well?
The communication, the work, most important. Like guys that would be playing this game if it wasn't financially beneficial for them. We can name obviously, we probably couldn't put ourselves in that situation, but we can name a lot of guys a few guys that love the game of basketball, just really good and skilled and just love to play, whether it's a park or, in the rec or whatever the case may be. He's one of those guys, So I think the love of the game is already there, and then willingness to get better, they want to communicate, they want to figure things out, how to be even more efficient, more aggressive. Is a detail that I saw in him.
You played against Dennis throughout a lot of your career. What's it been like playing against him?
Great. He's one of those guys, when he's on an opposing team, you hate him, and when he's on your team, you love him. So for him, just defensively, he picks up full court. Offensively, he's able to get into the paint and make, unbelievable decisions. The leader for his country, So, we got depth. Just finding ways to put it together.
James, a little while ago now, you broke the clock. We haven't heard much about it.
I don't even know how y'all heard about it then.
How is it? And was there any point when you got hurt that it was challenging to play with?
Nope.
The answer to how is it is nope.
Yeah.
The core group of you, Donovan, Evan, and Jared only played 78 minutes together. Just, do you feel like you know enough of the rotations and strengths and weaknesses going into the series?
They've been together for some years. I've been fortunate to be able to play with some players in this league. So, it probably took me a game or two just to figure out, where they like the ball and what to do, what not to do. And so I'm pretty familiar. And then even in the postseason, you could face 29 other teams, in the regular season, and guys guard you differently. So in the postseason, for the most part, they're going to guard you one way until game 3, maybe game 4, then I'll make an adjustment. So we'll figure out what works, and then we can kind of adjust and figure out how they're guarding us, and then talk about how we can adjust and counter them. So I'm not really worried about the 78 minutes. I'm more focused on us and our preparation and our force against their defense.
Having been to the playoffs as much as you have been in your career, what's the key as a team to make sure you can handle the ebbs and the flows that come with it?
Ultra confident and playing with force. I think there's a lot of ups and downs. There's a lot of things that might predict it to go a certain way and then they switch up on you, or whether it's game runs or whatever the case may be. There's things that happen throughout the course of the game, like I said, or series that you got to you can't be prepared for, but you got to mentally have your mindset to where if anything happens, no matter what happens, you're ready to still play and perform and execute. So I think this team has been dealing with adversity all year long, and it has its phases. So nothing changes. We go out there, we prepare for game 1, figure out what worked, what didn't work, and then move on from there.
You acknowledged the reality at the start of this interview. You haven't won a ring. That being said, you've done a lot of winning. You're one of the winningest players in the playoffs to not get a ring. Do you feel like that context gets overlooked in the story of your career?
Honestly, I don't care. I don't care. There's more detail and depth that I can go into, as far as run up against a dynasty, injuries, it's a part of the game. So there's no excuses. I don't feel bad. I don't dwell on it. I don't think back. It's part of it. It's life. I'm sure we all can look at ourselves and think about certain things that happen in the course of our life that just didn't go our way and feel bad about it, feel sad. I don't think like that. I just keep pushing. So we look forward. I'm blessed. I get another opportunity. I get an opportunity to play basketball and play my 17th postseason, and I have the opportunity to get to it. So
Last question.
How has you and Evan's two-man game grown since you got here in February?
Great, tremendously. Figure out what works, and where whether it's the pick and roll, whether it's me throwing the ball in the post, if I have the mismatch, if I feel like he has the mismatch, all that goes into play, and it's a split decision. So, and then, and if it doesn't go right, we talk about it, we move on, then, So, I feel like every team goes through that, All of it is communication. That's the biggest part of it, the communication aspect of it. When you can learn how to communicate, when you learn how to communicate with Evan or J.A., which those are two different people, when you learn that they're two different people, and you know how to communicate with them, then you're better off winning. So, and look, we'll see who they guard, what their matchups is. We'll see who have the advantage, and then we'll talk about it throughout possession by possession and game by game. So, I know we're excited. Yeah.
Thank you.